G'day, welcome back. On to the next project. This massive Lazy Susan. No, it's not a Lazy Susan, it's actually a dining table. So that's something I think we need to get on top of. But the owners of this table, they love the table, they love the look of the table, they love the railway sleeper look of it. But it's just not practical for them to use as a dining table. As you can imagine, the sleevers have lots of cracks and crevices in there. So trying to keep it clean, mashing your peas in there, the kids getting crown or chalk or whatever over it, it's just not practical for them to use as a day-to-day table, let alone as a dining table. So we're going to see if we can revamp and jazz this table up using resin. Going to make it up as I go along, but as always, I'm confident. Stick around, let's see how we go. Just doing some brainstorming. I think how I want to attack this job is I'm going to sand it back with 80 grit first, with my trusty sander, because I love sanding, and then once I've sanded it back, I'm going to hit it with the air compressor and the pickup and just clear out all the dirt and grime and stuff from the grooves. And I think that'll get the surface prepped, ready for resin. So let's go ahead and hook into that. Now I know nobody loves sanding as much as I do, so let's speed things up a little bit so we can skip to the next bit. Now that the sanding down to 80 grit was complete, it was time to break out the air gun and the picker. As you could imagine, this family table had acquired quite an amount of, let's call it patina, over the years, from mashed peas to Play-Doh to chalk, and to our biggest gripe was all the glitter in every crack and crevice. But we got it out in the end. We flipped the table upside down to apply some silicone to make sure we could seal the underside of the table. Alright, I'm happy that the top is good to go. I've now got to flip it over. So let's get the tabletop from here to up there. Yeah. Now I've got to flip it over so I can get to the underside. Safe as houses. Alright, change of plan. I flipped the table the right way up again and I started placing my tape down. Now, as you can see, the tape only sticks up about 5mm or so, and I'm only cutting small strips of this PVC tape. Now, the reason why I'm using just small strips and going around segment by segment as opposed to just not doing one long piece and going the whole way around, in my experience using PVC tape is that if you pull it and stretch it, the tape will naturally want to fold right over, where if you cut it into small segments, the edge of the tape will stay up. And also, if you stretch and pull the PVC tape, over time, it'll lose its stickiness and it'll want to contract back to its natural size. And then that's when you have resin leaks and things like that. But small strips, make sure you give it a nice good rub in there, is going to make sure that when the resin gets on there, the tape's not going to lose its stickiness. And also what I'll do, you can see how I've come down here, is once the whole table's been done, I'll then come around with a secondary piece along this band of tape and go all the way around. And then fingers crossed, that will be prepped and ready for resin and we won't get any leaks. Touch wood. All right, let's keep going with this tape. It's going to take some time. that was the last piece. I've gone all the way around with those little segments. Now to finish off, to go around just the edge and the banding, just for insurance. Alright, so I've just finished going around second and a third time. I put one piece just to level with the top, and then a second piece down here. That's 2 insurance policies that I shouldn't get any leaking from this side. The only place I'm concerned about getting a leak if it goes straight through and then I leak on the underside of the table. But I've got a plan that I'm about to put in place, so hopefully I can keep an eye on that. Okay, so I've placed 3 blocks underneath to elevate the tabletop off the tabletop. This will allow me to observe underneath, see if I'm getting any leaks. That way I can plug them up straight away. Now I just need to make sure that the table is in fact level, which would be a bonus. If it wasn't level, my resin could pour all the way and pool in one area. But we're looking good. It's time to go over and maybe mix some resin. The resin of choice for this project is Flow Resin's Easy Cast. It's a quick curing resin. It gives me a 45-minute work time and should cure hard enough within 24 hours that I can continue working on the project. So I've just mixed up my resin. It's full of micro bubbles and air bubbles. You know, that just happens when you mix your resin. So I'm going to put it into the vacuum chamber. Reason being is it's going to draw out all of that air, as much air as I can, before I go over and do the pour. So I want to put myself on the front foot right from the beginning, get rid of the air, use the vacuum chamber. Here we go. Now to hit it with some butane. Okay, so resin is mixed, spent some time in the vacuum chamber. I'm now getting ready to pour. I've got my heat finder here. We're already sitting at 38.9 degrees. So the longer I leave the resin in this pot, the hotter it's going to get. The reason being because it's a larger volume in a smaller area. So this temperature is going to continue to rise, and it's that temperature that makes resin cure, makes it set. But that should cool off quite rapidly once I pour it, and then it becomes a thin layer. So that's what I need to get in and do now, because I don't want it to flash cure. If it flash cures, then my next project would be how to replace this dining table bench top. Let's pour this. Alright, so we're all poured. It's been about 20 minutes since I've got it all in, spatulaed all around, hit it with the butane to pop any surface bubbles, and I've been periodically checking underneath. Appears to be no leaks, and the temperature, if you remember, was up about 38. We're sitting around the 26 degree mark, so it's dropped in temperature just like I said it would, now that it's gone from being in a bucket to on a thin layer. So yeah, fingers crossed, you know, I don't spring a leak and this cures relatively quickly. Okay, so it's been 24 hours, my resin is cured, it's time to take off the tape. I don't know where to start. Alright, now that all the tape is off, the next step, we're going to hit it with the belt sander because we want to bring back the surface of the wood, but obviously have the resin filling in all those gaps. So we can utilise the belt sander and rip it back down to level with the timber. Okay, so it's time to hook into the inevitable evil that is sanding. I know a lot of you people out there don't like sanding, but it's something that I enjoy. I find it very therapeutic and quite rewarding as you work your way up through the grits, watching your project come to life. But thanks to the magic of editing, I've been able to speed up 4 hours worth of sanding into about 27 seconds. You're welcome. So we still have a few low points, which we are simply going to top up with some Star Bond and activator, which will dry it out nice and quick, and we continue to sand and flatten the surface. Once we finish spot filling with the Star Bond, we continue sanding up to 360 grit and then prep the surface of the table for finishing. Alright, before we get too excited about finishing, we've got to sand the legs. You know, as they say in the trade, you never skip leg day. Hang on, I think that's a different trade. Anyway, sand the legs. Alright, time has come to apply our finish. The finish we're going to use is Osmo. And how we apply it is we get a nice coating all over the table, and we're going to buff it in using these white pads while he makes lots of noises over there with the roller door. I like using Osmo to finish a project. It's simple and easy to apply. Just simply pour it all over, use your spatula, spread it all around. And once you're happy with that, get your abrasive pad, work the Osmo into the grain with the abrasive pad, and then allow it to dry. It's that simple. Now that the first coat on the tabletop was complete, it was time to apply Osmo to the legs. We simply utilised the white abrasive pads and made sure we got a nice even coat of Osmo all the way around on all surfaces. As you can see, things are starting to look pretty specky right about now after one coat of Osmo. However, for the tabletop, I'm not done yet. I'm actually going to prepare the tabletop for a second coat of Osmo. I buff back with an abrasive pad, drizzle more Osmo over the top. I'll work that back in with the abrasive pad, and then once I'm happy, I apply a lambswool to the buffer and just keep going until that table pops. I think it really makes a difference. What are your thoughts? Look, I don't know about you, but I really think doing that second coat really makes a big difference. I think it looks great. So we are not far from the finish line now. It's time to get the legs on. So the inserts are the first thing to go back in, straightforward, legs on top, bolt those bad boys down, and voila, we are G to G. Time to just double check our work. Are we level? She's looking good. It's a little sneaky wipe down. Then it's time to load it into the trailer, strap it down, and deliver it back to its owners. Delivery success. Here's the table back in its rightful place. And as you can see from these before and after shots, this table really pops. I couldn't be happier with how it's all come together. I want to thank the owners for entrusting me to bring this table back to life, and for all you viewers, if you hung around this long, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, and hopefully I'll see you around for the next project. Have a good one. Cheers.